the Ross Barnett Reservoir, this was built in the 60s. 17,000 acres were donated and given to kind of create this man-made reservoir, which is kind of a large lake pretty much. There's tons of camping, a really nice park that we're in today. Lots of people who live around this reservoir have boats and things like that, and it's really become a very nice place for people to come and just kind of enjoy and have something, you know, nature-wise to kind of get away from the hustle and bustle of life. We're probably about 3 hours driving from the nearest coastline, so it's really nice to have this area here to enjoy. That's kind of in the middle of Mississippi where I live.
All right, guys, so let's talk a little bit about the Google Pixel 6 Pro cameras. I know a lot of people are talking about new Pixel stuff coming out, and I just showed you what it was like to shoot with the Pixel 6 Pro. It's such a good deal right now, and I would say if you're looking for the best deal on the best camera phone, the phone that's going to take amazing pictures, amazing video, be a great device, and you can pick it up for around $600, maybe even cheaper than that if you can find a really good deal on it. I would say the Pixel 6 Pro is still a fantastic device to get. You're not going to find a cheaper, better phone to take pictures and videos with. You're just not. Everything else is going to be more expensive or not have as good cameras that are out there. I would put this phone higher than any of the foldables that are out there camera wise. I'd put this higher than the S22 Ultra, even the S21 Ultra if you've got one of those. If you're thinking about should you wait on the Pixel 8 or the Pixel 7 Pro, should you get that? Is it worth the price? I'd say not if you're looking just at cameras. Now, a few other things might change over time, but for me, I just still feel like as far as cameras go, the 6 Pro and the 7 Pro Pixel line are just equal. I don't see one being greater than the other. I know a lot of people would probably argue that, saying that Tensor Gen 2 is better than Gen 1, but I don't see it when it comes to cameras. Now, let's talk a little bit about these cameras. So they're not perfect, but they're really, really good. And what I can tell you is, carrying a lot of different Android and iOS devices at different times, I still feel like to this day that Pixel is probably the best overall camera system. It's going to be one of the most consistent, if not the most consistent for most parts. You're going to get really good pictures that aren't oversaturated or maybe a little bit too safe. They're going to be right there in the middle when it comes to their processing. It's something about Google's processing just makes it just a little bit more, a little bit better than a lot of the devices that you get out there. As far as autofocus goes, as far as stabilization goes when it comes to video and things like that, Pixel is right there with everyone else, and I'm not going to say it's superior, but it is more consistent. I just found that when I typically would grab my Pixel and I would go out and shoot a video like this, or really any scenario that I'm in, handheld, just picking it up, opening it up, shooting it, it was always spot on. I very rarely can probably count on one hand how many times I actually took a bad picture or even took bad video. Now, like most all phones, and I say all phones because to me there's still no mobile device that does well in low light as much as they try to claim that they do. Pixel does pretty good, especially when it comes to videos. Their processing, we all know that's a big buzzword right now, AI and processing, but their processing just seems to still be a little bit more true to life, a little bit more honest. I know a lot of people talk about grain being in low light. it kind of is what it is. You're either going to get a grainy video in low light with a mobile device, or you're going to get something that's very soft. So you just kind of have to take which one's your preference. To this day, to me, there's not really a good low light shooting mobile device out there. Maybe that'll change in the future, but right now you're either getting grain or you're getting soft, and you just choose which one you want. But overall, I've been extremely impressed with Pixel's camera. I've used this as a main shooter at a bunch of events that I've done. I've taken this out with me multiple times, and I just can't really find a better camera system, even though I know there's a lot of people that make a claim that iPhone's video is better and their pictures are good enough to shoot right there next to Google and this, that, and the other. I still feel the opposite of that. I think Google has kind of become the king of the camera phone. And while a lot of people don't give it enough credit for its video, I mean, this is unedited video that you've seen out of the Pixel 6 Pro, you know, and this is just me walking around handheld. There's no gimbals here. There's no fancy tricks. I didn't turn on any kind of digital stabilization in post-processing. So you can be the judge. What do you think? Is it great? Is it good? Is it okay? You know, it's all up to you. Now, I will say, if you're a big selfie person, you're using a front-facing camera a lot, Google is not the strongest. Its colors aren't very accurate. It's a little soft. It does require really good lighting, because when it gets low light or even dim, I would say it really struggles with that selfie. So Google's got some improvement there on the selfie front, but I think a lot of cameras do. And if you kind of throw that in the mix, I guess you could say that Apple's probably stronger there than Google. So if you're somebody that's using a selfie camera a lot, I would say you may want to get an iPhone versus getting a Pixel. But for the most part, for everything that I used it for, I thought that it did really well. I think it still struggles in app a lot. So if you're someone that is using your camera in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, things like that, if you're using that selfie camera, I would say Google's probably not the strongest. But if you're shooting main lens and then throwing it into an editor and getting serious about it, I would say Pixel's actually a little bit better and preferred, just because mainly the colors and how it's processing those images. I just prefer it. Again, it's a preference thing. So that kind of concludes Pixel 6 Pro. I've graduated on, grabbed a 7 Pro, graduated on from that. We're up to this guy now, which we'll have coming out, the S23 Ultra. But to this day, even with this in my pocket, I would still highly recommend the 6 Pro. You can't beat it for the price, and if you're looking for a solid device with some of the best cameras that are on the market for less than $1,000, even down to like as low as $600, the best budget camera that you can get, just pick up a 6 Pro. So that's been it for me, guys. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.